Hey, what's up everyone? Before I get started, for all you animal lovers, this right here is real alligator skin that I cut off the back of a gator while it was still alive, back when I was a swamp man and I lived on the bayou. But those days are in the rearview mirror now. So yeah, this is real gator. The skull is fake though. Or is it? Now that that's out of the way, I want to show off the 15 most valuable pops that I own. I have a very large Funko Pop collection, and I don't really collect for value. I love some of my $10 pops as much as some of my $100 pops. But when you collect something, it's fun and satisfying knowing that some of your pieces are quite valuable and only obtainable if you spend a lot of money. Most people would call these grails, and I guess grails means something different to everybody. I know back when I first started collecting, people considered grails pops that were worth $100 and more. Because really, 99.99% of all pops are pretty easy to get if you have enough money. I'll let you know how much I paid for each one, what year they're from, what they're worth now, according to Pop Price Guide, which is just that, a guide, an estimate, because some of these you may be able to find for a little bit less, depending on the box condition, and some of these you can only get if you pay a lot more, because there just isn't a lot of them for sale. And the current price on Pop Price Guide will change depending on how much the next one sells for. Like Pop Price Guide can say that a pop right now is worth $100, but if all the listings on eBay for that same pop are $150 to $200, all of them, eventually one of those is going to sell and the price will go up. I'm going to start at 15. I'm going to start with my 15th most valuable pop, and that is Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's from 2017. He was part of Star Wars Celebration. This is the shared sticker though, and he was available through Toys R Us. And that is how I purchased him for retail price, but now he is worth $175. So he went up quite a bit. And it was all recently, like in the past year, because for the longest time, this guy, you could still get him on the secondary market for like $30 to $40. And the rest of the Rebels line is creeping up as well. Like, I remember at the time, Chopper was going for like $4. They couldn't give these pops away. They were just everywhere. They were even considered shelf warmers, the Rebels pops. But now all of them are creeping up in price pretty steadily. But Thrawn is one of the coolest ones. He's originally from the expanded Star Wars universe, but I mostly know him from Star Wars Rebels. And I wish they would have a villain this good in the movies, to be honest. And his pop looks really good. He would actually look kind of cool in metallic. Yeah, Grand Admiral Thrawn, $175. My 14th most valuable pop is Ace the Bat Hound, and he was a Funko Shop exclusive, limited to 3,000 pieces, so pretty rare. That's probably the main reason it is so valuable. It's $180 now, but I got this one at retail as well for $15 plus the $7 shipping, so around $23 with taxes. And at the time, you just had to log into the Funko Shop at the second they were going to drop these, and you just had to make a decision really quick whether you wanted it or not, because nobody had any idea what was going to drop at the time. I want to say he didn't even sell out right away, maybe 10 minutes, which, you know, is still pretty fast. But he wasn't extremely hard to get, and I don't remember too many people being upset they didn't get it. But yeah, Ace the Bat Hound, funny character, very different. And my box is in great, great condition. That's another thing. If you're going to try to buy these grails now, it's very hard to find super mint condition boxes because they've been passed around, you know, through so many owners. Because this is kind of old. Well, 2018, not super old, but grails in general, right? But yeah, really nice one. I also have a few 2-packs and rides that would actually make it into this top 15, but I'm keeping it at just single pop releases. My 13th most valuable pop is one of my older ones. That's Ghostface from 2014. I believe I picked this one up around 2015 for $20 from eBay, so not that much, but at the time it was still double the price of what a new pop costs. And I remember thinking $20 was crazy, right? If I only knew how much it was going to go up in value, right, I would have bought a lot more, because this guy is now worth $195. So almost 200. He'll probably go up to 200 because there's such an influx of pop collectors now, and there's a lot of people that only collect horror pops, or, you know, definitely want some horror pops in their collections. And Ghostface has become, you know, one of the most famous slashers. So I anticipate this one going up even more. There are fakes out on the market, though, which do tend to kind of ruin the value. It makes it stagnate a little bit because you're never sure if you're getting a fake or not, because people can use fake pictures and or pictures of real pops and send you a fake. So be careful buying this guy. But when I got it, there was definitely no fakes, and it was still pretty new. I almost want to say that this probably still came from a pop retailer that was just selling through eBay, because this is a very, very good specimen of this one. The box is super mint. Even the paint job is good on this one. But yeah, Scream is one of my favorite movies, and I really love this pop. My 12th most valuable pop is Tony Montana, and he is also pretty old for a Funko Pop. He's from 2014. My box isn't 100% mint. There's a tiny little crinkle there. But what's cool about this one is the pops at the time were all still pretty standard, with the arms to the side making fists. The fact that this guy's holding the gun made him pretty different. And he's simple, but it's still a good representation of Scarface. They did a good job with the scar, actually. But yeah, this one, just like the Ghostface, I bought it about a year after it came out for around 20 bucks on eBay. But now he's worth 10 times that at 200. It's a shame they didn't make, I forget his friend's name. And I would have liked them making Elvira too. Elvira, I would have loved to have an Elvira. But yeah, this is another one that's one of my absolute favorites. At 11, it's Kurt Cobain with the sunglasses. I want to say I first saw him wearing the sunglasses on the cover, maybe of Rolling Stone. And I remember seeing it like on an actual newsstand. Pretty memorable. So when I saw this, I had to get it. This was also a Funko Shop exclusive. This one isn't numbered though, but he's going for $210. I also bought this one from the Funko Shop when it released. And this guy didn't sell out very fast at all. I want to say he was available for a couple of hours. Not sure exactly why. Maybe because there was a few other Kurt Cobains. And he's actually not my favorite one. My favorite Kurt Cobain is the Smells Like Teen Spirit Kurt Cobain. But this guy's pretty cool too. Definitely a grail at $210. Now this guy right here was never a cheap pop. This guy was part of Marvel Collected Corps' Year 1 box, which was a special $130 box for people that were members of Marvel Collected Corps for, I believe, a year. And they touted it as, you know, a bunch of special things in this box. And people thought it was going to be like 5 pops, which would have been awesome. Could you imagine if it would have been 5 pops? Because this guy now is worth $230. He's from 2016, but if it would have been 5 pops in there, you know, that box might have been worth, you know, $1,000 by now. But instantly this guy, since that was the only way to get it, was $100 on eBay right away. And it never really went down from that. And he's not even that special. His head is just a repaint. I believe so is his body. I think the only thing that's like new on this is the head of the glider. But he's a repaint of the Green Goblin. He's still pretty cool. And I want to say this is the only Hobgoblin they've made. It's probably what keeps the price high. But yeah, the cheapest anybody ever got this was about $100. And I didn't even get a mint box. You know, if you follow my channel, you know that I sometimes make vids where I'm ranting or I'm talking about stuff that pisses me off about Funko and collecting in general. And this was one of them. I believe this was the first video I made. where I was pretty annoyed. And I think what annoyed me the most is I paid so much for the box, only got one pop. Everything else in the box was crap. They weren't even pops. It was Hikaris and Dorbs and like a baseball cap. Really stupid stuff. But mine wasn't even mint condition. It has this ding on the window that it doesn't show up on camera very much, but in person you do notice it. It's not that bad though, like not enough to drop it by a lot. I would still, rate this like at a 7 on the minty scale, but it's not that bad. It's not like a big crease on the box. I maybe would, if I were to sell this one, I'm not, but if I were, I'd probably drop like $30 off of it and put a really clear picture of, it's got this ding right there. But I don't think it's significant enough to drop it too much. So yeah, Hobgoblin for Marvel Collector Core. My 9th most valuable pop is the Creeper from ECCC from the Scooby-Doo line. And this isn't even, the official sticker. It's a shared sticker. It was shared with FYE. And this guy now goes for $250. At the time, he wasn't incredibly hard to get. He wasn't easy either, but it's not like he sold out in minutes. I want to say you had a few hours to get him. And I want to say it was also one of the first Scooby-Doo pops to start really going up in value. He seemed to be around $60 almost immediately. Once it sold out, I don't know if people just had a problem with FYE or they just didn't realize or what, because he wasn't that hard to get, but he immediately kind of shot up to $60 and never really went down from there and just, steadily started creeping up in value. And I wonder if that was a catalyst for people wanting to buy the other Scooby-Doo pops, because all of these now are worth quite a bit. You will spend a lot of money trying to get a full original set of Scooby-Doo pops. And I don't know if people just are big Scooby-Doo fans or they saw this guy going up in value. So they went, you know what, let's get all these. So it's kind of like one of those, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, did these become valuable because people are big fans, or did they become valuable because everybody bought them up thinking they're going to go up in value, making them harder to get, which made them go up in value? Kind of an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, the Creeper, $250. My 8th most valuable pop, also numbered 8 on the box, is the original Tony the Tiger. 3,000 pieces, Funko Shop exclusive. And for the longest time, this guy was the most valuable pop in my collection. But then they put out a flocked version. And, I think there's a newer version. There's a 10-inch version now, too. So that all drives the value down, even though this one is only 3,000 pieces. And it is a popular cereal at Icon. But yeah, this one instantly shot up in price to that 400 to 450 range, like the same day. And it didn't go down until the newer ones came out. But yeah, this one was also, a surprise drop. Nobody knew. I clearly remember being extremely hungover and sleeping on somebody's couch because I passed out, at their house. It was a good one, right? But I remembered to set my alarm, and I woke up, logged on a couple of minutes after it released. It wasn't even right away. But I do remember this one selling out within like 5 minutes. And it was right at the time when stuff started really selling out fast on the Funko Shop. And these numbered ones were popular. Or they were just, you saw them more often. Funko doesn't really release this limited of pieces too often anymore, because could you imagine how pissed off people would be if they released some new cereal at Icon that had never been done before and it's just 3,000 pieces? People would be pissed. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get this one, and now he's sitting at around $260. So still pretty valuable. And it's just a really cool pop. One of the more well done cereal pops in my opinion. And I really like the box art with the cornflakes here on the bottom. It's just great. My 7th most valuable pop at $270 is NB Adams from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This one is limited to 2,500 pieces, so super low run. I also got it for retail from the Funko shop, and this one was sold with Todd Ingram, so you had to buy both of them. And I believe that's what made people kind of hesitate because, you know, now you're paying 30 plus 7, you're paying, you know, nearly $40 for these two pops, and if you're not a big fan, people didn't get it. Like I don't think at the time people were just buying anything on the Funko shop expecting it to go up in value like they do now. So this one was pretty easy to get and didn't sell out right away, but now she's pretty expensive at $270, and it came out good. I would have preferred Envy Adams, like from when she's singing that Metric song. That would have been a lot better. But I still like the pop. This also has something weird going on with the earring where instead of it just being a hoop, it's kind of filled in with flesh color. It looks really, really strange. They did that with the Amy Winehouse pop as well. I think if this was made today, they would never do that with the earring. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but maybe you can see a little easier here. You see how the earring isn't like connected to her cheek? From this angle, it does look that way, but it's just because the hoop is filled in with flesh color. Very strange. I'm not sure why they did that, but I still like the pop. Very valuable. Hopefully they come out with a new version of her. That would be nice, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. My 666th most valuable pop is this red glittery dress Elvira. It's one of the rarest pieces that I have. And honestly, it's probably my favorite Funko Pop sticker. These original Funkoween stickers are really cool. There's another one where the sticker's shaped like a coffin. Still want that one. I eventually want to get all the Elviras, but I just have the original, which is also getting pretty valuable, and this one, but this is my favorite one, and it's definitely one of my favorite pops just because I think it turned out really well. And it also reminds me of my aunt that passed away. She was a big Elvis and Elvira fan. But this one is sitting at $330 now. It used to be a little bit more before they made more variants of Elvira. That kind of made the price go a little bit down, but I still think this is the coolest one. And definitely if I had to pick like 3 pops to always keep and never sell, like, or if my house was burning down and I could only save 3 pops, this would be one of them. I really love this one. I also got it for retail. This one did go fast. You had to have really fast fingers, but I was able to get it. 15 plus 7 shipped. Really a nice pop.
Unpleasant dream.
My 5th most valuable pop is Louis Blue Raspberry, and this is, I believe, the rarest pop I own. At only 1,000 pieces, he was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and he completes a set of the Otter Pops, which is honestly one of the dirtiest things that Funko has ever done. They released a set of Otter Pops, it looked kind of cool, and then everyone was like, oh, where's Louis Blue? And they made him a con exclusive, which is fine, but only 1,000 pieces, which means there's only 1,000 people in the entire world that can have a complete set of Otter Pops. And you know, Funko probably kept a few of them, and some of these have been destroyed, some of them have been lost. They end up in people's hands that don't really know what they are, maybe even opened them up and gave them to a kid, who knows. So I'm pretty sure there's not 1,000 of them in existence. But this is one of the few times I did go well above retail to pay for a pop. Like generally, I don't like paying more than $25 for a pop if I can't get it right away. I just chalk it off to like, oh, well, I missed out on that one, or I'll try to like snipe it from an eBay auction for very, very cheap if I can, which is kind of what I did with this one. I ended up paying $160 for it, which is the most I've ever paid for a pop. It's a lot. It pains me to even admit it because even though some of these are worth a lot of money, to me they're not, right? Like it's very hard for me to pay $100 for a pop, but I knew this one was going to keep going up in price because of how limited it was. And a lot of people have nostalgia for these. So paying $160 wasn't bad because now it's worth $360, which is quite a bit. And if I were to sell it, I'm pretty sure I could get the $360, even though it's not perfect. This is on the back. And I would consider this maybe an 8 out of 10. It's really not bad. Most people wouldn't even notice that. Even if I put a really clear picture of it and everything, most people wouldn't notice. If it was in the front, it's a different story. Or if there's like, a slit in the window. This right here isn't bad damage. And even the most hardcore of collectors wouldn't scoff at this, especially if it's like 30 to 40 bucks less than some of the other ones. But yeah, Louis Blue, really like it. One of my favorite ones, and definitely a grail piece, because even if you have a lot of money, eventually these are going to become very, very scarce. It's going to be hard to find one in great condition if there's even listings for them. So this is definitely a true grail. My fourth most valuable pop is Alan and Baby Carlos from The Hangover. And this guy is quite old. This one is from 2013. So one of my older pops. And you can really see the age in it because look how sloppy the paint is. This is when Funko was still doing pretty sloppy paint. The hair isn't all that detailed at all. Looks very Play-Doh-y. But it's still a cool pop. And it's funny with Baby Carlos there in the front. And I have a mint condition one because I actually got this one for free from Whatnot. Like, it was a sponsored video. They asked me to pick out a grail. At the time, this guy was 200, but he's 370 now. But I wouldn't sell it for 370 because finding a mint condition Alan and Baby Carlos is very difficult, and I have one. So I would probably, if I were to sell this one, I would probably list it closer to 450, maybe 500, because it is mint condition. Like, it's absolutely perfect. And, I say the paint job is sloppy, but this one actually has a decent paint job compared to some of the other ones I've seen. Some of the other ones have a lot of bleeding around the beard, and you can tell that the pop underneath is a very dark color. And sometimes the paint, like the skin paint, doesn't cover it up all the way. The eyes are a little wonky on Carlos, but not bad. Yeah, it was just pops of this era were sloppily made, right? But I have a very good example of one. So to me, it's worth a little bit more than what Pop Price Guide says. My third most valuable pop is the Bank Robber Joker, and he is one of my favorites. Just like Elvira, if I were to only save 3 pops, if my house was burning down, this would be one of them. It's just perfect. And he is a little older. He's also from 2013. And he is mint condition, right? This one I didn't get for retail though. I paid $20 for it in like 2014 or 15 or so when I first started collecting. I think it was in 2014. I paid $20 on eBay. Was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm such a crazy person spending $20 on these toys. But now he's worth $380, right? And I see he's gone down $100. The reason that's happened is because China is starting to make fakes of these. So when one of the fakes sells for like 30 or 40 bucks and the algorithm picks it up as, oh, a bank robber sold for $40, it's going to make the price go down. Real authentic ones of these will go for a lot more, maybe closer to 500. And one in this good a shape, because this is mint condition and his paint job is really good. There's no dust on it. It's just another good example of one. So that's why you can't always use Pop Price Guide as like the end all be all of what something's worth. You have to really check, especially with some of these more expensive ones. It can vary wildly, right? Shelf wear, damage, paint, like when you're getting into these old ones and very, very high prices, even the paint jobs matter, right? It's not just about the box being perfect. It's unfortunate that it's getting bootlegged, but there are ways to tell if it's real or not. You just got to do your research and expect to pay a little bit more for this guy. The Crystal Blue Heisenberg is my second most valuable pop, and he is $390 now. because this is the one with the official con sticker. This was actually a gift, so I guess this one was free. She was a big pain in the ass at the time, so it wasn't like 100% free, but yeah, this was a gift. She went to the Comic-Con, picked this up for me, carried it all the way home, kept it pretty nice, even though at the time, I wasn't as aware of box condition. I wasn't even aware of Funko Pops really being all that collectible outside of like, oh, look, Tony Montana or something like that. But I kept it nice and mint. Wasn't in a protector for the longest time, but it still feels nice. It still feels like kind of like case fresh and minty. But what's so cool about this one is that, yeah, he's made out of, or he's supposed to mimic the blue meth from the Breaking Bad show. And what's cool about that is I don't think Funko's ever going to make another pop like this. Like, could you imagine them going, oh, we're going to re-release Tony Montana, but we're going to make it all white to make it mimic cocaine, right? They're never going to do that. And he's even holding a little bag of meth. The actual original pop, if you look closely, he's holding a bag of meth. I don't think Funko is going to be doing that kind of stuff anymore. They don't even like putting, guns really in Funko Pop's hands, much less drugs, and one made out of drugs. So pretty unique, pretty expensive. He was at around $100 and $150 pre-pandemic, but with the collectibles boom during the pandemic, this guy is now nearly $400. I don't see it climbing up much more than that unless some new Breaking Bad spin-off show comes out, or a movie, or something else with Breaking Bad, new season or something, which is not going to happen. But yeah, this crystal blue Heisenberg is one of my favorite ones. Another one that I would probably want to keep if my house was burning. Very, very unique and cool pop. And my most valuable pop is Speedy Gonzales. I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak like that, but obviously a victim of cancel culture, right? I don't know. I'm Mexican. I've always loved Speedy Gonzales. Like, yeah, some of the stuff is stereotypes or whatever, but I don't know. I just think it's funny. Or like, Slowpoke Rodriguez and...
Ándale, señor gato.
Yes, master.
I like your pussycat friend. He's nice and stupid.
All that, I just think it's funny. I don't find it offensive. I don't speak for all Mexicans or whatever, but all the ones that I know, Speedy Gonzales being offensive has never been a thing. Everybody always uses it as a compliment. Like if somebody's really fast, call him Speedy Gonzales. It's not an insult. But anyway, I think he came out really, really good. One of the cutest pops I own. He was a little bit hard to get. When this guy came out, 2017. If you notice, a lot of these ones were around 2017. That's when Pop started getting a little bit more popular. You started seeing more Funko Pop YouTube channels, more Funko Pops on Instagram and Twitter, and it was becoming a little bit more mainstream. So people were very aware of them becoming expensive, and you also had people buying them on speculation and not just collectors. So this guy did go out fast, and he's only 3,500 pieces, so he's pretty rare. Luckily, I have a mint one. I did order this from the Funko shop, paid the $15 plus $7 shipping, so got it for retail, and now he's one of my most valuable pops at $460. So yeah, pandemic also made this one go up, but it's mostly the cancel culture thing. As if they were going to make another one. Like, I really don't think they were ever going to make another Speedy Gonzales. He's limited. The fact that it went up because supposedly he got cancer is still kind of strange to me, because like, it's not like, oh shit, all of a sudden they're going to stop making Speedy Gonzales pops. They only made them the one time, and you only had 5 minutes to buy them that one time. Not even 5 minutes. I think this is one of the ones that sold out like in literally seconds. He went out really fast, like true to his name, right? But yeah, very, very expensive pop. Definitely a grail, and just one of my favorites despite the price. Like if this guy was only worth $10 and he was a common, which would be true. If this guy was a common, he'd probably still only be like 30 to 40 bucks. But he's nearly 500 and he's one of my favorites and I love him. All right, guys, that was my top 15 grails, all spread eagle for you guys. I really like all of them. There's really none of them that I would want to sell. If I had to pick one to sell, maybe the Hobgoblin. But I also feel an attachment to that one because it was in one of my first YouTube videos that actually got a lot of views and got me a lot of subscribers. So even though I hate the circumstances around having that one, it still has sentimental value. Like the Elvira pop, or the Heisenberg pop, or the Speedy Gonzales pop. Even the Alan and Baby Carlos has sentimental value for me because it was given to me by a company that thought my videos were good. And I'm sure a lot of other people that own these pops have these sentimental attachments to them. So that's one of the reasons I think these do hold their value, is that they're older and people have an attachment to them. And once your pops get this valuable, you just know that if you sell it, you're probably never going to get one back. Alright guys, let me know in the comments below what your most valuable pops are, what the most you've ever paid for a pop is, what grails you wish to get someday. Do you have any of the ones I just showed you and how did you get them? Or anything else you'd like to say. Thanks for watching, and if you ever get attacked by a gator, stick your thumbs right in his eyeballs and plunge that knife right in the belly. And you take that skin.